Hello, Siddharth.
Hello.
Welcome to Masterclass Space interview session. Congratulations on getting admission in UC Berkeley.
Thank you.
In your own words, we would like to have your introduction for our viewers, please.
Yeah. So my name is Siddharth Sahu, and I am a student in grade 12. So recently, this March, I got my acceptance letter from UC Berkeley after training with Masterclass Space in 2020 and 2021 for my SAT and AP Physics C Mechanics examination. So thanks to that, I was able to get admission into this university, and I'm looking forward to study at Berkeley starting this August.
Good. So what was your score in SAT and AP? No.
Yeah. So for the SAT, I scored 1550, and for the AP exam, I got a 5 out of 5.
AP Physics C.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, good to know that. So, want to know a bit about your college preparation journey. You have been with us, associated with us since last 2 years, and how your journey has been. Did you feel very stressed about the journey, or it was very exciting, or thrilled, or how did you feel about it?
Yeah, it was both exciting and stressful. So at first it was quite exciting, with all the SAT prep and AP prep. It was, nice to learn new things, obviously, and see my score improving on the tests. And at the same time, I was also identifying different colleges I could apply to, researching about them. So that phase was very exciting. Then I gave the tests, and when I got good scores there, I was also very pleased. But after that, of course, comes the application process where you have to start writing your essays, fill in your extracurriculars and all that. So that part was a bit stressful because I was trying to identify what should I write so that the colleges would admit me and so on. And so that was a bit stressful because it was a new experience, and also probably I didn't manage my time as well. So I left things at time to the last minute. So due to that deadline pressure, also there was some stress, but at the end, of course, everything turned out to go quite well. And so yeah, the process was both exciting and stressful at times.
Most of us, we are habitual of completing the things at the last moment. Only deadline is a big motivation for people like us. Okay, good to know about it. So you've been part of us as AP Physics C student and SAT student. So
Yeah.
how did Masterclass Space help you in both these exams?
Yeah, so in both the exams, of course, uh, Masterclass Space helped in boosting my score so that I could get the necessary test scores to apply to the top universities. So for the SAT, of course, when I started off, my math was quite good, so I was confident there. But English was where I was facing the most difficulties, like most students. So when I went to Masterclass Space, the teacher, Hassan sir, he taught us right from the very basics. And that way, I could solve each and every question and understand why the correct option was correct. So that way, I could avoid making silly mistakes and I could get the maximum score possible. And that helped massively in boosting my SAT score. And for the AP Physics exam, of course, there it was mainly learning the right concepts and learning how to apply them. The AP Physics C exam has calculus in it, and whereas the physics we learn in school, which is the IB curriculum, doesn't have calculus. So actually learning how to apply calculus in physics, that was a great learning experience. And I was able to build up the foundation so that I could score well on the exam as well. So
Well,
mainly conceptually, Masterclass Space helped massively.
good to know this. So now want to know a bit about the profile building thing. What was so unique in your profile that you think, which has made you to be accepted by UC Berkeley?
I think the main sort of selling point of my application was the focus I had shown in physics, maths, and engineering in particular. So in the application, the two main things you can influence are your extracurricular activities and your essays, apart from test scores, academics, and all of that. So when writing down the application, I showed how throughout the years I participated in different science competitions. I had aligned my academics by, for example, taking the AP exam. I had participated in certain research projects, and through that, by combining them, I was able to show how my interest in physics, maths, and engineering developed over time, and why that compelled me to study engineering physics at UC Berkeley. So by showing how my interests aligned with whatever I wanted to study in college, and showing that I had done Olympiads, research projects, and other activities, it showed UC Berkeley that I was prepared to not only perform well academically at the university, but also take advantage of other extracurricular opportunities on campus. So by showing evidence through extracurriculars and academics, I was able to convince them to admit me as a student.
Good, good to know. Very exhaustively, these points for someone who is aspiring to make his career in STEM. Now, the essay part is also a very tiring part, as we understand, right? So how did you manage this? What on did you put in your essay?
Yeah, so the essays, of course, so for example, for the UC application, you have to write 4 different essays. And then apart from that, there's also the Common Act through which you apply to all the other universities. They have their own set of essays. And I also applied to Canadian universities, so they have their own set of essays. So in the end, I must have written in total around maybe a few dozen essays in total. So it sounds like a lot, but one of the advantages is that a lot of your essay prompts will be similar. For example, the Common Act asked me, one of the essay prompts was, how did you, describe one event in which you encountered failure and how did you overcome it? And a similar question was there for UC Berkeley as well. So by identifying one common story where I overcame failure and I could show that I learned a lot from it, I was able to adapt that and put it into these different essays. So in the end, like the most sort of, I think, useful tip for the essay process is identify these key moments or stories from your own life that you can describe in the essays, and you can show that, and through these stories, you can show how you have developed how you have developed as an individual and how you have explored your passions, academics, and so on. So in the end, you only need a few stories and you can convert them into these many essays and answer all the prompts. So that's the main tip I use.
Okay, I get your point. So what has been your biggest achievement now that you have highlighted?
My biggest achievement. So I think there were a few, like when I was in 9th grade, I participated in this Microsoft Excel competition, and I topped in India in the MS Excel 2013 category, and I was able to go to the World Finals in Orlando, Florida, to represent India at the global stage. So that was one achievement. And then more recently, I participated in a research project with some organization called Lumiere Education. And there I researched on the aerodynamics of a cricket ball. And my project was selected as one of the top 8 in the program. And I was able to present at a event that took place at the end of the program. So these two main activities, I think, showed the most achievement in my application.
Good to know about the achievements and how you made your profile apt for UC Berkeley. Now, moving further, wish to know a bit about your future plans. What are your long-term plans, Siddharth?
Okay, so honestly, my long-term plans are not as fixed. So one of my aims is to eventually work at a large aerospace organization or firm, like whether it's NASA or ISRO or another company like SpaceX
SpaceX.
and so on. The problem with these aerospace companies, though, is that it's a very heavily regulated industry. So you can't just go into some country and start working on the top aerospace program. So what my ambition is to specialize in some other field, whether it's robotics or machine learning or material science, and sort of identify one area that I'm really interested in, which I plan to explore at university. So at UC Berkeley, my major choice is engineering physics, which allows you to explore a wide range of physics topics as they apply to engineering. So I plan to develop one interest at UC Berkeley through my academics and also through other research projects. And using that, see how it can apply to the aerospace industry and take that interest forward. That's my main aim.
So you are going to do BS in engineering physics. Is that the degree called?
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Good, good. Fine. Now, coming away a bit from academics and profile building, what are your hobbies?
My hobbies are playing the keyboard, watching and playing cricket, and reading. Those are the three.
And
things. Reading.
Reading. So what do you read?
Like a mix of non-fiction and fiction. In terms of non-fiction, I read sometimes sort of astrophysics books like Brief History of Time, and then there's Hyperphysics by Michio Kaku. And these are basically popular science books that can be read by anyone, and they sort of briefly explain what the main advances in physics are in a simplified manner. So those are very interesting. There are other books like this on mathematics as well, like Fermat's Last Theorem and so on. And alongside that, I also read fiction books from a wide range of authors. And yeah, those are different things.
So now this question I want to ask you, many of the students of your age, I mean, your friends and your classmates might be saying they are going towards engineering, right? You are going towards a core science degree.
Yeah.
So how come, what made you to get interested in core science rather than opting for something like computer science, electrical, mechanical engineering?
I think simply it was the exposure to, as I said, those books, non-fiction books. And when I was learning physics at school and when I was learning physics during the AP classes, I got more interested in studying the pure science aspect, like whether it's aerodynamics or optics and so on. So these are the fields that interested me, and they have more application in core science. Also, engineering is more application of science in order to design different things, whereas core science is emphasis more on research and producing new knowledge. And so that research aspect interests me more. And I had a little bit of experience during high school, and I found that pretty fascinating. That's why the core science aspect interests me. It depends on what one's interests are and what one is exposed to during their school and so on.
Good. Good to know about your journey. Want to ask you about something which you put on your profile, which is very crucial, that is community service. Have you done any community service somewhere?
Yeah. One of my major community service activities was with an NGO in the local area. And they carry out community teaching for students all the way from kindergarten till 12th standard. So my mother used to volunteer at this organization. And so when I was looking for opportunities to volunteer, she suggested this idea where I could help other students in 10th and 11th standards solve doubts, particularly related to STEM subjects like math, chemistry, and physics. So what I did is I set up these groups and I took weekly classes with these students in order to understand what their doubts were and to clarify them. And I also eventually started giving them questions which they practiced so they could keep up with their class curriculum as well. And I volunteered here for around 6 months in total. And so that was one activity which was also connected to my interests, which were math and physics. So that is how I could align my interests and community service.
Well, good to know about your journey, Siddharth. And we have asked many relevant questions to you already. Thank you for joining us, and we wish you best of luck for your future journey. Very happy once again, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.